welcome to week number 2 of the o.w.l.s magical readathon. Today is Tuesday. It is about 6 o'clock. I just got home from work and I have so much to tell you. So if you didn't see it, earlier today I uploaded my week 1 reading vlog and I really like how it turned out. It was a little bit long, but I'm overall very happy with it. I am feeling a lot better today than I have been in a while, which is good. I had a really good day at work today, and it's rare that I say that, but I do feel really good about the day. So it has made me like kind of extra motivated to continue the good feelings and the good spirits or whatever. So hopefully that'll happen. If you did see last week's vlog, you know that I spent the majority of the week reading Furyborn by Claire Legrand. No, I have not finished this yet. I'm trying to finish it tonight. I think I'll be able to. I'm on page 385, so I have less than 100 pages to go, and I think that if I can just buckle down and get like a good hour or so of reading in, then I might be able to knock the rest of this book out tonight. Hopefully. Fingers crossed that it happens. I think it'll happen. However, I did finish a book today. I listened to the audiobook of The Test by o.w.l.s. I am using this as my book for the Potions Challenge, which is to read a book that is under 150 pages. The test is only 108 pages, so it fits perfectly. This is a sci-fi story about a man who is taking a British citizenship test, and it was really, really good. I ended up really liking it. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. It is a story that is very often compared to like an episode of Black Mirror, which it seems like it could be plausible. I've never seen Black Mirror an episode at all, so I don't really know much about the show, but I know it's kind of like sci-fi weird stuff going on. So I feel like the comparison is pretty apt, but I can't really speak to it. I read the audiobook, or I listened to the audiobook and read the ebook on my phone kind of simultaneously, so that was really nice to kind of get the simultaneous experience. So if you're looking for something that is short and fun and entertaining and will definitely make you think, then check out The Test by o.w.l.s. I'm really interested to read more from this author. I know he has a very popular sci-fi series that is often compared to the Illuminate Files, which we all know I love, so that's something that I'm definitely going to check out in the future because I did really like the writing, really like the story, and I'm interested to read more from this author. So with that book finished, I've now completed 2 challenges. I've done arithmancy and potions, and I'm on my way to completing the divination challenge. Just less than 100 pages to go in this, 80 pages I think left in the book. So hopefully I will be able to say that I doubled my challenge completion in the first day of week 2, because I only finished 1 challenge last week and I have been feeling a little, I don't know, down about it. My plan for tonight, along with finishing Furyborn, is to cook dinner, eat dinner, obviously, play some Animal Crossing, and I need to do some laundry and spend some time with Cole. We'll probably watch TV or something at some point. And also I'll need to pick another book, because if I do finish Furyborn tonight, I'll need to pick a new book to start tomorrow. Anyway, that's the intro to this vlog. I hope that your owls are going great. I hope that you have read way more books than I have, and even if you haven't, that's okay, because we're all just reading and having a good time, and that's what matters. All right, it's a little bit later now, and guess what still hasn't happened? Yeah, I still haven't finished this. I still want to, and I'm still gonna try to finish it tonight. I still think I can. It's almost 10, so I feel like if I just really just hardcore read for an hour, I could probably knock out the rest of the book. I might fall asleep, in all honesty. I spent almost the entire evening just playing Animal Crossing. I've been thinking about it all day, and I just wanted to spend some time playing. So that took up a large portion of the night. However, while I was playing Animal Crossing, I did start a book. I did start listening to a new audiobook. I started A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is a relatively new YA mystery, and it's about a girl who is investigating the disappearance of a really popular girl that went to her high school a few years before her. The police always thought it was her boyfriend, but the main character is not so sure, so she's kind of investigating this case, this disappearance, for her senior project, and so far it's really interesting. I already listened to 25% of the book just in me playing Animal Crossing for a few hours. I listened to a good portion of the audiobook and I was really liking it. Although I wasn't reading Furyborn, I was reading, which is always a good thing, and I am gonna try to finish this tonight, or at least get as close to finished as I can so I can finish it tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, if I do finish it, I guess I'll do one more little update. If not, I guess we'll just catch up again tomorrow. I finished. I'll talk more about it tomorrow, but I loved it. I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Hello, happy Wednesday. We have so much to talk about because I finished another book today. So I need to talk to you about Furyborn by Claire Legrand, and then I also need to talk to you about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. So last night before I went to bed, I finished Furyborn by Claire Legrand, and I absolutely loved this book. I ended up giving it 5 stars because it truly was just so good. I don't know, I just got really sucked into this book, and even though there were some slower paced times, I still really loved it. I loved the characters, I loved the story, just everything about it. This book, as I mentioned in last week's vlog, is about a world where there has always been this prophecy that 2 queens are going to rise. One of them is the Blood Queen and one of them is the Sun Queen. The Blood Queen is supposed to like have the power to destroy the world, and the Sun Queen is supposed to have the power to save it. The 2 main characters, Riel is in the past setting, and she is believed to be the Sun Queen. She has this enormous amount of power, and at the beginning of the book she reveals that power to everyone, and so she gets thrust into these trials to prove that she has control over her power and that she truly is the Sun Queen. And then set 1,000 years in the future, we're following Eliana, who is a bounty hunter that is just trying to keep herself and her family alive, and when she gets caught up in a quest to return a lost princess to her homeland, she starts to learn more about herself and her family and some potential power that she may have. It's obvious because we're reading from these 2 perspectives that one of these girls is the Blood Queen and one of them is the Sun Queen. And while it may be very obvious as you're reading the book, and especially after you read the prologue of this book, I think that it's not going to be so black and white. I think that things are not going to be as cut and dry as like this one is the bad one and this one is the good one, because this book is really exploring the human capacity for both good and evil, and it's definitely exploring that idea that no one person is so good and no one person is so bad. The series is also definitely playing the long game because the beginning of this book opens basically at the end of the story, or not the end of the story, but it opens in a place that seems like it might be the end of one of the girls' stories, and that isn't how the book ends. Like, we don't get there by the time the book ends. So it's definitely something that we're going to see happen probably at the very end of the series. And I think as the books go on, you learn more about these characters, more about this world, and that is where the not so black and white idea of one of them is good and one of them is bad is going to come in. I truly, really enjoyed this book. It is my favorite book that I've read so far this year. This is my first 5-star read of 2020, and it's like April, so it's really sad that it's 4 months into the year and I'm just now having a 5-star read, but this was so good. I'm so glad I read it, and I am definitely going to be continuing on with this series as soon as possible. At some point in the near future, I'm definitely going to buy book 2 and I'm going to read it. The 3rd and final book in this trilogy comes out in October, so I feel like I started this series at the perfect time where I'm not going to have to wait too long to read the entire thing, and I can't wait to continue on. I love this so much, and I would highly recommend it. This book completed the divination challenge, which was to let a random number generator choose my read, and I did that in my first vlog, so you can go back and watch that. Now I've completed 3 challenges, so that's great. And actually I've completed 4 challenges because, like I said today at work, I did finish A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I started listening to the audiobook of this one last night, and I was planning on using it as my astronomy challenge book because I was gonna try to just read it at night, but after I finished reading it last night, after I like stopped reading for the night, I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm gonna be able to just stop. And so I definitely listened to the rest of it at work today, and it was really good. So as I mentioned yesterday, this is about a girl who, for her senior project, is basically investigating a murder that happened in her town a few years ago. She does not believe that the person accused of the murder is actually who did it, and so she is investigating. She's trying to figure out the truth. And as the book goes on, as she gets closer and closer to the truth, she puts herself in more danger. And this book was so good. It was a wild ride, honestly. I don't usually like YA thrillers because I find them to be pretty predictable most of the time, but this one had me on the edge of my seat the entire time I was reading it. It was thrilling, it was mysterious, it was suspenseful, and some of the stuff that was revealed at the end I did not see coming. Throughout the course of the book, I kept trying to like theorize what was going to happen, and one of my theories turned out to be correct, but not in the way that I thought it was going to. And then there was like an even bigger twist after that that I didn't see coming at all. I had this like one like crazy harebrained idea from the beginning, and I was hoping that the book would go there because I thought this would be a crazy way to end the book, but it didn't. But it still ended in a crazy way because I didn't predict it. So I'm really glad that I read this. This was really, really good. And it is the first in a series. So there's actually going to be more books following this main character and her like kind of solving mysteries, which I'm really excited to read more from because I did really, really enjoy this book. I've seen this book reviewed a lot and I've seen a lot of positive praise for it, but something that I didn't know going into it was that there is a bit of a mixed media aspect to it because she is investigating this case, obviously, and so a lot of the data that she's collecting is like transcripts and phone calls and stuff. So listening to the audiobook actually was a bit of a production because they had a full cast. Everybody that she talked to was narrated by a different person, and it was really entertaining. So if you like things like Sadie by Courtney Summers, then you might also like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. It's something that I hear get compared to the podcast Serial a lot. I've never listened to Serial, but I know kind of the premise of it, and I feel like this is kind of in that same vein. So if you're looking for something that is a little bit different, a little bit like mixed media, and will definitely keep you guessing from start to finish, then you need to check out A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's been a little bit underrated, I feel like. I have seen people talk about it, but I haven't seen a ton of people talk about it. And for how good it is, I feel like more people need to read it. So if it sounds like your thing, then I would definitely recommend it. So those are the books that I have finished. I've now completed 4 challenges. I forgot to say, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder I'm using for the challenge of Muggle Studies, which was to read a contemporary. Obviously, it doesn't really fit in any other challenge, so it's gonna have to be my Muggle Studies challenge, but that is fine. Now I need to pick my next reads, and I think I'm gonna try to pick something that will fit for one of the 4 of like the main challenges that I have to complete, because I've already done 3 bonus ones, so I need to like focus on the other 4 of the ones that I need for the career I'm going for. My options right now are, I set a few books out for myself. So my options right now are to start The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. This would be for the challenge, I think it's Defense Dance and Dark Arts, which is to read a book set by the coast or set at sea. And then I might also start the audiobook of Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, which I would be using for the Transfiguration Challenge, which is to read a book that contains shapeshifting. I actually didn't really know if I had any books that contain shapeshifting, but I did a little search and apparently Sorcery of Thorns does. My third option is actually a newer book, and that is The Memory Police by Yoko Agawa. This is a literary fiction novel translated from Japanese that is set on this island where people's memories start disappearing, and I think there is like a bad corporation or something called the Memory Police who end up like being the ones that are stealing these memories. This has been getting a lot of buzz lately, and so I bought it and I'm really excited to read it. So I might read this one for the Herbology Challenge, which is to read a book that starts with M. Those are my 3 options right now. I'm not really sure which one I'm gonna pick. I definitely will be listening to the audiobook of Sorcery of Thorns, but of the 2 that I'm gonna read physically, I'm not really sure which one I'm gonna go with. So I might do a little try a chapter thing. I'm not really sure. Anyway, that is my check-in for now. I will probably check in again in a little bit once I do actually pick a book. Like I said, I'll probably definitely start Sorcery of Thorns either tonight or tomorrow, and I'll probably start one of these other 2 as well. I feel like either one of these books would be a good option because they're both different genres from Sorcery of Thorns. I don't like to read like a fantasy book and listen to a fantasy audiobook at the same time. So since I'm going to be listening to fantasy, probably read contemporary. I guess this is on my 2020 TBR, so I probably need to prioritize this one, although I do want to read both, and I'm probably gonna read both, but it would be nice to knock out another one of my 2020 TBR books. I will definitely let you know once I do pick or once I start reading. I'm probably about to go play Animal Crossing for a little bit, and then I am gonna have dinner at some point, and I'm gonna have to take a shower and wash my hair at some point. So I'm probably not gonna read as much tonight as I have been. I'm not like trying to finish a book right now, so I'm not forcing myself to read. And since I did finish a book today, I'm not like too worried about starting another one, but I'm definitely gotta pick which one I'm gonna start because I'm gonna have to take one to work tomorrow to read. So that is the plan for now. I will, like I said, let you know once I pick. I'm gonna update my bullet journal real quick, and then I'm gonna go play Animal Crossing and just relax for a little bit because I'm tired. I had a long day and I'm ready to go to my island for a little bit. So that's what's about to happen. It's like 9:30 now. I played Animal Crossing pretty much all evening. My island is coming along nicely. It is so humid. I think we're supposed to have a little storm tonight, and then I think it's supposed to cool off tomorrow, but I had to turn the air conditioner on because I'm sweating and it's not pleasant. Time to pick my next read. I did a little poll on my Instagram story to see what people thought I should read between The Memory Police and The Last True Poets of the Sea. Currently, The Last True Poets of the Sea is winning, but only one person has voted, so it makes sense. I thought I might do like a little try a chapter thing really quick while I wait to see if anybody else votes so that I can kind of get a sense of like what I would want to win. And I think after that, I'll just probably pick one and I'll read a little bit tonight before I go to sleep, and that's my plan now. So, that's what's about to happen. Okay, so I'm really interested in both. The Memory Police is set on an island where things periodically just disappear. And the first chapter is all about the main character thinking about a time when her mother showed her some things that had disappeared. And it's kind of hinted that her mother remembers, but doesn't really explain why. And it has this like very melancholy tone to it, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm definitely intrigued by this book, and I definitely want to continue on with this one. But I think the one I'm actually going to pick this time around is The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. Not only is this one on my 2020 TBR, so I'd be knocking another book off the TBR, which would be great, but also I just connected a little bit more with this story right off the bat. The first chapter of this one is a little bit longer, and so I got a little bit more like information about these characters. This is about a girl who gets sent to Maine to live with her uncle for the summer while her brother goes to rehab. And while I think this is going to tackle a lot of really hard topics, and I'm really interested to see like what direction this book goes, I really liked the kind of humor of it. It had this very like kind of self-deprecating humor tone to it that I really enjoy. Like the main character seems like she's going to be very sarcastic and like, have a dry sense of humor, and I think I'm gonna enjoy that. So I think I'm gonna continue on with The Last True Poets of the Sea. I'm really excited about this book. I'm really excited about both of these books, to be honest, but I think the one I'm gonna continue on with now is this one. And this one's like straight up contemporary. It's not like fantastical at all, really. So it'll be a great book to pair with Sorcery of Thorns, which I'm gonna start on audio tomorrow. I'm gonna go read a little bit more of this tonight, and then I'm gonna go to sleep, and I will catch up with you guys in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever I decide to vlog tomorrow. Hello, happy Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday. I didn't do any vlogging the last couple of days, mostly because there wasn't really anything going on. Thursday when I got home from work, we did some work out in the yard, and then we came in, I cooked dinner, we watched a little TV, and then we ended up going to bed pretty early, and I didn't end up reading at all on Thursday. And then yesterday when I got home, I had a really good day, and so I don't know, I just wanted to relax for the evening, and I didn't want to like, I don't know, I didn't really want to like vlog or anything, but I ended up falling asleep on the couch for about a half hour right after I got home from work, and then we ate dinner, we watched some TV, and then I played a lot of Animal Crossing, and I didn't really feel like vlogging that, so I just didn't pull the camera out. But the good news is I did read a little bit yesterday, and I am going to show you what I have started. So the other night when I was picking between The Last True Poets of the Sea and The Memory Police. I ended up going with The Last True Poets of the Sea, as you may remember from the previous clip. Started this and I've only read the first chapter, or the first couple of chapters, I guess, and I am liking it, but when I started it, I realized that I am just not really in the mood for contemporary right now. I mean, I really liked the beginning, and I am going to read this month, but I'm just in a fantasy mood right now, and so I am gonna just make my way through this slowly as I feel up to it. And then last night I also started the audiobook of Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I was meaning to start this on Thursday, but I just didn't really have an opportunity to listen to an audiobook on Thursday, so I started it yesterday when I got home. I actually listened to it while I was playing Animal Crossing, and I'm already like 125 pages in, so I've got a good chunk of this read. I think that was about 3 hours of the audiobook that I listened to last night, and I'm really liking this so far. This is about a girl named Elizabeth. She is a librarian for grimoires, which are basically like magical texts. They have to be protected and kept under like lock and key, because if they get out, they turn into monsters. And at the beginning of this book, a grimoire gets out and turns into a monster and kills someone in the library that she works at, and they believe that she is the culprit, so she goes to the big city to kind of stand trial or whatever. That's the part I'm at right now. She's just gotten to the city not too long ago, and some things are happening. I'm remembering as I'm reading this that I really love Margaret Rogerson's writing style. She has a very quirky kind of, it's matter of fact but in a whimsical way, which I know doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's not like overly flowery writing. It's not super descriptive. It's not like, I don't know, it's not overwritten, but there is enough there that just kind of keeps you interested the whole time. I'm planning on listening to the audiobook more today, and maybe getting like a good chunk of the way through this, maybe even finishing it if I feel up to it. But yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm glad I'm picking this up. And then last night I started the Fullmetal Alchemist volumes 1 through 3 bind up. I have been meaning to read this manga forever. Cole has been wanting me to read it for a really long time because he really wants to watch the anime with me, and I told him I wasn't going to start the anime until I had read this first volume, or this first like bind up. So I started this last night and I read the first volume of Fullmetal Alchemist, and I am really into it. I'm excited to continue on. I'm going to be using this one for the astronomy challenge, which is to read a book mostly at night. I am going to just read one volume every night. So tonight I'll read volume 2, and then tomorrow night I'll read volume 3, and I will have knocked out this manga. This has been on my TBR for so long, and so I'm excited that I'm finally getting to it. So yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. I'm reading 3 things. I am going to go eat breakfast and play some Animal Crossing and charge my camera battery, and then I have some big plans for the day. So I will catch up with you in a little while. Hello, it is a little while later. It's about 2 o'clock now. I obviously got ready for the day, and I just got finished filming a video, and I'm probably gonna film some more in a little bit, but I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I'm going to eat some lunch, and I'm gonna play some more Animal Crossing and just have a relaxing afternoon. Earlier this morning, while I played Animal Crossing and ate breakfast, I also listened to some more of the Sorcery of Thorns audiobook, so I'm up to like the 40% mark in that one, and I'm still really liking it. I am excited to continue to see where that one goes, and I think I'm gonna turn the audiobook back on now while I play Animal Crossing and eat lunch, because it seems like a good idea. I haven't really done much today, obviously. Like, I'm just having a kind of relaxing Saturday. I think I might take Luna on a walk in a little while, because it's really nice outside. It's sunny, but it's not too hot, so it would be like the perfect day to like take her on a little walk around the neighborhood. We just do like a couple miles in our little neighborhood, and we don't really interact with other people, so it is safe to do that. And she probably needs to like get out and be outside for a while, because it's been raining so much. We haven't really been able to take her out as much as we want to. We don't really have any plans tonight, obviously. We finished watching Letterkenny the other night, so we're caught up on that, and we're caught up on the current season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so we don't really have any funny shows on the go right now, and neither one of us has really been in the mood to watch something super serious. So if you have any good recommendations for funny stuff, I'd be really interested to know. We obviously watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we watched Letterkenny, we've watched The Office in the past, we've watched Parks and Rec. So if you have anything kind of like that you think we would like, then leave those recommendations down in the comments, because we really need to find a new show to start. because we're gonna want to watch something new soon. That's my update for right now. I'm gonna go eat, play Animal Crossing, and listen to more of Sorcery of Thorns. So I'll check in a bit. Okay, so it's a while later. It's actually close to midnight. I'm getting ready to go to bed, but I just wanted to come and talk about Sorcery of Thorns for a minute because I'm so close to being done. I was trying to finish it tonight, but then I got caught up watching YouTube, so I didn't like finish it. But I think I have like about 3 hours left of the audiobook, which I'm listening to on 2x speed. So like an hour and a half basically, and I'm definitely gonna be finishing that like first thing in the morning because this book is so good. So this book is kind of like a better written, more compelling Clockwork Angel, which I know is maybe an opinion that you do not share, but this book is really, really good. It's about a girl named Elizabeth. She is a magical librarian, and like I said earlier, at the beginning of the book, she gets accused of a crime that she didn't commit, and she basically has to go defend herself. And then she kind of gets caught up in trying to figure out exactly what is going on with these attacks, why somebody is attacking all these magical libraries. And she is being aided by the very mysterious Nathaniel Thorne, who actually reminds me a lot of Howl from Howl's Moving Castle, because at the beginning he has this like very mysterious past and he doesn't really share much of himself with her, and it's very obvious that he is carrying a lot of family secrets and a lot of guilt for something that has happened in his past. And just watching them kind of like go from not really liking each other very much to becoming friends is so good. And I really love this, honestly. Something I remember about An Enchantment of Ravens that I really enjoyed was just how quiet and subtle the story was. The story isn't overly written. The characters aren't just like over the top. The writing is just, I don't know, it's very subtle and simple, but still super compelling. The romance between these two characters is just, it just like kind of crept up out of nowhere. I mean, obviously you go into a book like this and you have two characters who are introduced in the way that these characters are introduced to each other, and you know, like there's gonna be something there. But the way that this relationship just kind of like very organically formed was so beautiful, and I love it so much. There was also this like very casual mention of Nathaniel being bisexual, which we love to see it. Like it was just like, this is a thing about me, and it wasn't like a big deal. And I really love that. And that was something I really loved about Reborn as well, is that there was just like very casual bisexuality, which we just never ever see. I know this book got a ton of hype when it came out, but I still feel like Margaret Rogerson is a relatively underrated author because I don't hear people talk about her and give her the kind of praise that I feel like she deserves, because all of her books that I've read, she's only got 2 books out, but like the first one was really good and this one is even better. I'm so glad that I'm reading this book. It is so good, and I don't know, like there would have to be something like super major happen in the last chunk of this book for me to not give it 5 stars, honestly. Like I'm just really, really enjoying it. I don't even know what I'm gonna read after that because I realize I'm just really in the mood for fantasy, so I don't really think I'm gonna be able to read The Last True Poets of the Sea right now. I'm definitely gonna read it before the end of the month, but I just want to continue on this like YA fantasy train, so I don't know what I'm gonna pick up next. But I'm so happy to like be in this reading mojo that I've found myself in. It's really just turned my whole I don't know, my whole perspective, my whole life. Has it turned my whole life around? Is that how dramatic we're gonna be? Things have not been going great for me, honestly, recently. And the fact that I am loving reading again is just so good. So I'm gonna go to bed because I'm really tired, but I am definitely gonna finish this tomorrow, and I'm gonna start something new, and hopefully we just continue to have a really great reading time. Hello, it is actually pretty late in the day on Sunday. It's like 9 o'clock and I haven't vlogged at all today. And it's mostly because I spent the day doing like adult stuff like housework, laundry, things like that. So I just didn't really have anything interesting to vlog. This morning though, I did finish Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and I loved it. I ended up giving it 5 stars, which is amazing. I went 3 months without having a 5-star read, and then I had 2 in the span of a week, which is just amazing. I really, really loved this. Pretty much everything I said last night still stands. It's really one of the best books I've read in a long time, and I'm really glad that I got around to reading it. Also, the audiobook was really good. So if you are looking for something that is like whimsical and fun with just a really great cast of characters and a really sweet romance, then I would highly recommend this. So this book completed the challenge of Transfiguration, which is to read a book that includes shapeshifting, and it did. I can confidently say that there is shapeshifting in this book. It's very subtle. It's a minor character, or not a minor character, but it's a side character, but it was great. So got that challenge marked off. So now I've completed 5 challenges, 2 of the ones I need specifically for the career I'm going for, and then the 3 bonus ones, obviously. So I'm on track. I'm doing well. So now that I finished that book, I obviously have to pick my next book, and I am still kind of wanting to stay in the fantasy genre. I'm not really in the mood for contemporary right now. I just want to continue on this like fantasy train that I'm on. I've been loving it, so I want to continue on with that. So I have a couple of options, or I had a couple of options for what to read next. I really wanted something kind of similar to Sorcery of Thorns, or kind of similar to Furyborn, where I could just kind of get sucked into the world, sucked into the characters, and just have a really good time with the book. And so I went on Goodreads and I kind of looked to see what was recommended like similarly. The first one that popped up actually was Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I don't know how to say her last name. This is about a girl who is a witch, and she gets into some kind of like arranged marriage with a witch hunter, and I'm not really sure what the book is about, honestly, beyond that. It's been very polarizing in the booktube community. I know that there are people that would like die for this book, and then there are also people that say it's like the worst book ever, and I have seen some middling reviews as well, but it's really mostly like you're either like gonna love it or gonna hate it. This would be an ideal book to read for the History of Magic challenge, which is to read a book that features witches or wizards. I literally have no other books on my TBR that have witches in them right now, so this would be a good one to pick up, and I probably will read it at some point before the end of the month to tick off that challenge. But the book that I'm actually going to start next, and probably tonight before I go to bed, is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I actually picked like 5 or 6 books that I thought would be good reads to read after Sorcery of Thorns, and I had Cole come in and pick, and he ended up picking up Muse of Nightmares for me, which I'm really excited about reading. This is obviously the second and final book in the Strange the Dreamer duology, which I started in 2018, and I really enjoyed Strange the Dreamer. I've just been putting it off reading the sequel, and so I'm finally going to do it. This book would complete the Care of Magical Creatures challenge, which is to read a book with something with a beak on the cover. Obviously there's like a bird of some kind, of hawk or something, and hawks have beaks, so there's a beak there. This is also on my 11 series to read in 2020 list, so it'd be nice to knock another series off that list, as I've only finished 1 so far. Like I said, this is the sequel to Strange the Dreamer, which follows a man named Laszlo Strange. He is a librarian, and he has always been obsessed with this mythical city of Weep, and in Strange the Dreamer, he gets the opportunity to go to Weep and help Weep solve a problem, and while he's there, he learns a lot about this city, this world, and about himself. And then I'm assuming the second book is going to take place like right after the events of book 1, which it did really leave off on a pretty big cliffhanger, so I'm excited to continue on with this one finally. So yeah, that is my update for tonight. I thought before I go I would show you my updated bullet journal, because I haven't shown it in a while, and I want you to see what it's looking like. Okay, so I figure I'll just show you like kind of all the pages that I regularly update. So obviously this is my 2020 TBR, and I've got 4 colored in. I finished Furyborn this month and loved it, obviously. This is the series page, and as you can see, I've only finished the Diviner series, but I've got a good start on some of these other series, and I'm still planning on finishing a bunch, so I'm not worried about that. Oh, and this is my bookshelf page. So these are all the books that I've read so far in 2020, and then there's a little key down here to show me what all the colors mean. Sorcery of Thorns was the first book that I read that I bought this year. So here's my goals pages, and those are coming along nicely. I did 1 month of no alcohol earlier in January. We're not gonna go through page by page. I'm just gonna skip to April. Okay, here we go. So videos, I have filmed all of these and just have to edit them, and I was planning on editing today and did not get around to finishing editing the video that I was going to post today, so that will probably go up tomorrow. And then here is my owls spread. So as you can see, I only missed reading 1 day, which I think was on Thursday. That was the day we did yard work, and I never read that day at all. And then here is my little I don't know, wrap-up page, I guess. These are all the challenges that I've completed so far. As you can see, I did this weird star thing with divination, and then I tried to write in a white paint pen, and it did not work. It, like, I don't know, I think I tried to write before the marker had dried, so it kind of all blended together. So I wrote Furyborn down here in the corner. But yeah, that's how the owls are going for me. Hope the owls are going well for you. Okay, I think that's everything I have for today. I'm sorry that this vlog has been mostly just me sitting down talking about books. I'm sorry that I've been talking about books on a booktube channel. Oh, and I hope you all had a really happy Easter if you celebrate it. Okay, let's talk. It is currently Wednesday. The past couple days, I haven't really read anything, and that is because it really did take me a little bit of time to get into Muse of Nightmares, and so I started it the other night when I talked about it, Sunday night, and then I didn't read for 2 days because I just wasn't quite ready, or I just hadn't quite figured out how to jump back into this world. Because this is a sequel and I read the first book over a year ago, I just wasn't really sure like how to start this. I mean, I started it and then I was a little bit confused at the beginning. I remember Strange the Dreamer very well. I remember so many of the big events that happened in that book, but the beginning was referencing some smaller events, and so I actually had to go find like a summary of the first book and read the summary and just kind of remind myself about Strange the Dreamer. And then I waited a couple days and decided, yes, I do in fact want to jump into Muse of Nightmares, and so I did like properly get into it. And today I read up to page 133, so I'm about a quarter of the way into the book now. I just started part 2 and I am really enjoying this. Like I said, it did take me a minute to like kind of get reacquainted with the world and with the characters, but now that I'm like back in it, I'm like totally back in it and I'm ready to keep going. I have a planned video for this weekend, so I have to finish this before Friday because I'm reading some different things for the weekend. It's going to be a completely separate vlog. I mean, it's still going to be for the owls obviously, but it's not going to be an owls vlog. So I really need to finish this tomorrow, but I don't know that that's gonna happen just because I am only this far in. I did pick up the audiobook of this one. I thought if I just like kind of like read them both at the same time, like if I listen to the audiobook when I can't physically read, then I could get through it faster, and that is something that I could do. And you know, I might listen to the audiobook here and there, but actually I listened to a little bit of it on my way home from work today and I don't really like it that much. I don't really like the narrator. I don't know, he just isn't really capturing the tone of the story as much as I would have hoped, considering I've only heard really great things about the Strange the Dreamer audiobooks. In a bind, I might read a little bit more of this via audiobook, but I'm gonna try to read as much of it physically as I can. I also read the first book physically, and it's kind of this weird thing I have where if I start a book one way, I have to finish it that way. So if I started the first book and listened to the audiobook, then I would have to listen to the audiobook of the second book. But because I read the first book physically, I kind of have to read it physically. I don't know why my brain works that way. I think it's just like a perfectionism, like continuity thing, but I have to try to like read as much of this physically as I can or my brain is gonna hurt, and I don't want that. If I don't finish it by Friday, then I'll just put it on pause until next week. With all that being said though, I am actually going to end the vlog now. I'm gonna take tomorrow off of vlogging because I'm gonna post this vlog tomorrow, and then obviously I'm going to be doing a different vlog for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Anyway, I guess that's the end of the vlog. Maybe I should do a quick recap of everything I read. I read The Test by Sylvain Neuvel, which I read for the Potions Challenge, which is to read a book less than 150 pages. And then I finished Furyborn, which I started last week, and I really, really loved that. Gave it 5 stars. It was fantastic. I read that one for the Divination Challenge, which was to get a random number generator to pick a book. And then after that, I finished, The Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, which I read for the Muggle Studies OWL, which was to read a book from the perspective of a Muggle or a contemporary. Finally, I finished Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, which I also gave 5 stars. It was so, so good. And I read that one for the Transfiguration Challenge, which was to read a book that features shapeshifting. The owls are going well for me. I hope they are also going well for you. Let me know how you're doing on your challenges. Which career are you going for? How many challenges have you completed? What has your favorite book of the readathon been so far? I'd really love to know all the things down in the comments. I don't really know what book of the readathon has been my favorite so far. It's definitely a tie between Furyborn and Sorcery of Thorns. On any given day, I could pick a different one. And hopefully I'll have some more 5-star reads to add to the list, and maybe all of my favorite books of 2020 will come from this month, because that would be amazing. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!